Tuesday morning in Copper Hills was supposed to smell like cut grass and cheap coffee. Soft sun on the stucco sprinklers, hissing like a lullaby. And then my wife, Mia, called me to the front fence with that careful voice teachers use when something is wrong. An orange notice stapled on crooked fence. Too tall. Flag not approved compliance in 2 hours. One of those papers that feels like a setup the second you touch it. And before I could laugh it off, she raised her phone because she documents everything. Hit record, put her brother on speaker, and 3 men were already walking across our lawn like they owned it. Tactical vests, knockoff badges that said CCU, Civic Compliance Unit, designed to fool you from 30 feet, the tall one, barking stop recording like he had a right to be there. And when Mia stood her ground with that teacher voice, "You're not law enforcement. Step back." The muscle guy smacked her across the face so hard, the sound cracked the morning open. I won't pretend I was brave. I was just still coffee on the porch rail, old county maintenance shirt, and something in me slid into place, the way it does for people who've seen worse. I walked out and said, quiet and level, "You just hit my wife," and they saw a Underwall stain on my sleeve and missed the part of me deciding who goes where and how fast. And then I heard a familiar engine, and the black Tacoma rolled in like a warning. Mia's twin brothers. Noah and Ethan stepped out together. Not loud, not chesty, just the kind of calm that knows every exit. Ethan checked Mia first. Noah picked the phone out of the grass and showed me the recording still rolling. The tall enforcer tried to puff up. "This is official HOA business." And Ethan got close enough for the guy to read his freckles, rather. "You're already charged. It's called assault, then." He lifted the man by the vest straps like a backpack and walked him 2 steps backward. No drama, and phones started appearing in neighbors' hands like flowers. After rain, Mrs. Patel from 2 doors down. The Martinez kids. Even old Mr. Davenport. With his flip phone, and that was the moment the siren floated. In real police cruiser doors, the officer watched. The slap on Mia's cracked screen, flinched, replayed it, and said the words, "You always hope to hear when the truth is right there." "Sir, you're under arrest." The tall guy tried to salvage it with "We're authorized," and I saw his own phone face down in the grass, glowing with a text preview. Boss D says, "Use force if needed." D people in Copper Hills know who D is. Deborah Kane, president of the HOA. Perfect smile, perfect hair, a memory for fines, like a calculator. The officer bagged the phone, and the neighbors started murmuring the way a crowd does, right before it changes sides. And by late afternoon, our doorbell rang, and Irene from the corner stood there, shaking, but steady, and handed us an envelope. I can't be part of it anymore. Inside were photos of Deborah's black notebook. Not rules, not minutes. A playbook. Names and addresses. Late mortgages. Custody fights. Notes like leverage under stress. Husband deployed, subject, highly compliant. And at the top, control ladder. Later pages marked Phase 2. If legal fails, escalate pressure. Phase 3. Maximum impact. Execute. Regardless of HOA position. And Mia looked at me with that look that says, "This isn't about shrubs. This is about power." You know what I mean. Deborah tried to flip the script in court the next day. Restraining order dramatic attorney. A neighbor named Tommy swearing I threatened him behind the mail kiosk, yeah. That happened. Our lawyer, Ms. Park, didn't raise her voice. She just asked the judge to play the community meeting recording. From 3 nights earlier, Tommy's own voice filling the room saying Caleb showed restraint. timestamp glowing like a lie detector. And then Ms. Park rolled out Irene's poster blow-ups, Deborah's handwriting, the control ladder, the phase notes. The judge peered over her glasses, and you could almost hear Deborah's smile crack. Tommy folded, said Deborah promised to wipe his fines if he testified. The judge called a recess, and that is when the text hit my phone. No number, just a sentence that took the color out of Mia's face. Your wife teaches at Juniper Ridge, right? Dismissal at 3:10 is unpredictable. We called our neighbor Sergio retired detective mean as a cactus. Until he isn't, he read the text and said, we're going federal. And by dinner, a woman with an FBI windbreaker sat in our living room asking tired but precise questions. Special Agent Whitaker. No makeup. Eyes like a level she wanted. Names, times, copies, context. And then Martin Hale. Deborah's ex walked in with a folder and the kind of shame that makes a man tell the truth. I funded half her nonsense once he said I was stupid. Then he played audio. Deborah drunk and mean, I hired those CCU idiots because wives like her need to be taught a lesson. Military husbands think they're untouchable. Everyone bows to pressure. Eventually you could feel the room tilt. And that night the HOA called a special meeting in the community center that felt less like a meeting and more like a reckoning. We didn't speechify. We showed receipts, the slap video, the text from the CCU phone, the notebook pages, bank transfers from a shell called Neighborhood Integrity Group to the goons and a law office with a name that sounded like a dare. Neighbors shifted from bystanders to witnesses to jurors. The VP banged a gavel she'd never used and called a vote of no confidence. Hands went up like a wheat field in wind, and Deborah stood to speak with the mask off. You idiots. Without me, this place collapses your kids. She paused just long enough to make every parent see a hallway at 3:10, then smiled at me like a cat with a secret phase 3 is already in motion. You should have begged. So we turned our house into a command post. Mia called her principal, the district her parents. Anyone who needed to hear the word caution. Agent Whitaker coordinated with patrols. I paced the floor, pretending I was calm, and at 3:07 the next day, a black SUV glided past Juniper Ridge like a shark fin. A rear window rolled down, and a phone clattered onto the asphalt. The SUV was gone. Before anyone got a plate, the screen was already lit. Phase 3 has begun. Today was just a test. If you've ever felt a pickup lane go quiet all at once, you know that sound we got through dismissal on adrenaline and stubbornness and the taste of pennies in the mouth. And the next morning the entire subdivision lost power, like someone thought a dramatic flourish would help garage doors. Froze, alarms chirped and died. 6 CCU jackets fanned out like they were FEMA clipboards and radios. Writing fake citations in the dark, one of them grabbed Tommy by the elbow, hard enough to make him wince, and maybe that was the spark. Maybe every street has a moment where fear burns off. Noah and Ethan stepped from behind my truck. Like bookends. Not in vests, not with speeches, just presence. Let him go, Noah said. And the man did, because there is a tone of voice that reaches. Bone phones came up all around, like we'd practiced it. Irene, the Patels, Mr. Davenport, even the HOA VP, a forest of cameras aimed at the same place. We're not paying for fake tickets, someone yelled. You don't run this place and write on cue. Deborah made her entrance. Tailored suit sunglasses, 2 SUVs crawling beside her like a parade. Look at you, she said. Rabble with cameras without order. You have nothing. Your kids. She let it hang, and I stepped forward. Because I was done letting her paint fear on our faces. You hired men to hit my wife. You threatened a school. You're done, I said. Not loud, just true. And before she could spit back, comments were already rolling across a live stream. Someone had started from 3 angles. Then sirens hit the corner like a drumline. County and FBI agent Whitaker stepped out. Deborah tried to pivot toward an SUV and ran straight into Noah's hands. He pinned her arms like you'd close a door gently. Ethan relieved the bodyguard of a baton he never got to use. Ms. Kane Whitaker said, "You're under arrest for conspiracy, assault, witness tampering, and making terroristic threats. More likely coming, and the block didn't cheer like a movie." Not exactly, it exhaled. Kids started laughing again. Mia leaned into me and cried for real. For the first time since the slap, the FBI van door shut. Power clicked back on. Up and down the street and the humming in my head, that trained hum that asks what you're not seeing, wouldn't quit. A week later, Mia came home pale and furious, a manila envelope left on her desk at school. No return address, inside a playground photo with a red circle around a cluster of 4th graders, and 3 words in block letters. Not done yet. Sergio examined it and shook his head. Different handwriting, different flavor. This isn't Deborah, and Irene told us something she wished she didn't know. Deborah talked about people she called the circuit. Folks who hide behind boards and committees, real estate clubs, parent groups. Other HOAs, they trade. Leverage, they help each other when heat shows up. Martin slid a thumb drive across the table like a quiet confession. She moved money to shells tied to that name. And if we embarrassed her, we embarrass them. You know what I mean? So no, I won't tell you. The arrest was the end. I'll tell you. The porch lights came back on. Flags went up because they're ours kids. Rode scooters at dusk. Neighbors learned each other's names for real. Mia's cheek stopped hurting when I kissed it. And 2 nights ago, I took the trash out and saw a blue flicker in the window of Deborah's old house for sale sign. Gone room empty, but a laptop glow just sitting there, silhouette at the glass. Maybe a realtor, maybe a cousin, grabbing mail. Or maybe a reminder that people who like control rarely quit at the first no. I'm not the hero. I'm a husband whose wife refused to bow a brother-in-law to 2 men who understand strength is quiet, a neighbor who didn't realize we outnumber the bully until we bothered to look up at the same time. And if you're watching this from a place where someone with a badge, a title, or a committee loves the sound of people flinching, hear me. The second you tell the truth out loud and point a camera at it, their power shrinks down to paper thin. So tell me in the comments, where is the line in your world between order and control? When does a rule keep people safe, and when does it turn into a weapon? Have you seen a board or a boss run? Fear is a management strategy? What did you do? What should we do next? I'll be in there, reading. Because I have a feeling Copper Hills is just chapter 1, and the circuit will hate that ordinary folks with phones and long memories are paying attention.